What made you lose respect for someone? I gave a guy from work a ride home years ago and he tossed trash out of my window during the ride. I let him have it for that, and he acted like I was the dick. If you litter, you're a piece of shit. I was friend with the popular kid in our first year of high school. Because of certain events he was jealous of me and started acting all mean and stuff, where it eventually led to him telling everyone I was talking behind their back. Eventually, everyone seemed to dislike me because of this one rumor. So from first to second now year of high school, people seem to avoid me and it is brutal for my social life. I now only have one friend and he is not exactly who I would want to be friends with, but he is the only one who accepts me. All of 2020. Ex-friend of mine, who was at the very least on the lower end of rich, took a huge box of groceries from a free food truck at her CC that was giving out essential food items, bread, canned goods, milk, to students in need. Posted it all over social media like, look, my school was giving out all this free food. We had those trucks at my CC too, and being middle class, I didn't feel comfortable taking it because I didn't need it. She got mad at me for giving her shit for it. Her only justification was, well, everyone else was taking them. A week or so later, she posted an Instagram story of her pouring spoiled milk down the drain. That's about the time I stopped talking to her. Saying because I swore at them during an argument that I deserve to be hit, and then refusing to apologize because I don't do apologies. No worries, I don't do this relationship anymore. I've lost respect for one of my friends because he said the N-word like 50 times in a Discord server and didn't even apologize for it. Also said that since it's a server Discord nobody would care. Many people on this server were people who went to the same school that could have been African American. But here is the real kicker, he is an ROTC student and saying this shit, and says that he won't be kicked out of ROTC for saying it because, you guessed it, it's Discord so nobody would care. He also created an Instagram hate page about the guy who got the server taken down. That guy is one of my other friends, and he tried to make me believe he was the bad guy for getting his Discord banned. Now that I think about it, he has always been kind of an asshole. One time he left me sitting alone at a table at lunch because 3 of his friends came up to him and wanted to sit with him. Our school allows 2 to 4 people per table because of COVID. I looked up from my phone to see him laughing with his other friends at another table, didn't even say he was moving to a different table. I literally felt kind of bad the rest of the day. I still sit with this kid and don't know when to tell him because I'm scared he is going to do the same thing to me and turn all my friends against me. Plaza, help me. My mom's soon-to-be husband has a daughter, 33, who is Jean-Rolfio Saperstein level the worst. She is the most entitled, rude, and disingenuous person I have ever met. She is inconsiderate to literally everyone that she comes in contact with and refuses to even consider that she is the problem. She treats my mom like garbage and called my mom, who worked her ass off as a single mom to buy a 5-bedroom home for her children, redneck and trailer trash. She badmouths my mom to her minor sister that spends half of her time with my mom and her dad. My mom gave up her own home for this man, and because his adult daughter is a raging CNT, he has told her he is second-guessing the marriage. I expected nothing more from his daughter, so it's not surprising she would act like a little brat, but I did expect better of that man, the one who swore to me he loved my mom and would protect her after 26 years of abuse with my dad. I have not an ounce of respect for him and will not be able to be around him until he makes it right by my mom. Even then I will always have a skewed view of him. The moment they say assume noble intent to dismiss any allegation of harassment. My dad, while my stepmom was dying of cancer in a hospice bed in the living room, he was surfing eHarmony in the other room looking for a new wife. Watched him break down in hysterics at her memorial, mid-sentence. Blubbering, said, "I don't know how I'll go on. She was my best friend." What a lying piece of shit. Let's see, when I learned my dad was saying ignorant shit about his step-grandson's choices about his sexual preference. He was 13 at the time. The kid, not my dad. The fact that my dad in 50 years has made no attempt to make contact or have any semblance of a relationship with my half-sister. Learning that my dad used to hit my now deceased mom. Every time I remember my dad drunk raging and chasing my mom's sister and I out of the house, after ripping the phone off the wall so she couldn't call my grandfather to calm him down. You don't like how does government runs things, but you want to throw your car into anti-government protesters? Thoughtful face. When people lie to me, it shows me exactly how stupid they think I am when they lie to me hoping I fall for it. That one friend in your friendship circle that uses you as a subject for his/her joke during the conversation every time, indirect humiliation as an extra step. I always have this feeling inside my head wanting to say, are you that desperate for an approval or some limelight? With that, I always question myself and someone imagining telling me, why can't you take a joke, despite knowing to yourself that what this person is doing is beyond boundaries. One of my female co-workers asked a male co-worker out, and was turned down. She immediately started talking shit about him, about his job performance, while also spreading rumors that other co-workers, including me, must be sleeping with him instead. To my knowledge, no one at work is sleeping with the dude, and even if they were, it really wouldn't matter anyways. Up until this happened, I had liked her well enough, but now I really just want her to go fuck herself. My mum has always been a strange person. When my parents broke up, she brought in a man who could easily be described as one of the worst people I've ever met. He was a narcissist and came into our house like a hammer. My older brother, then 15, was beaten up by him few times and kicked out at 16. Thank God my grandmother was such an amazing person and took him in. My younger sister was under 10 and just changed. She was so sweet, great at school but became extremely reserved and rebellious. My stepfather would constantly berate her about being fat, ugly and a liar. It was relentless. I kept to myself out of fear and moved out at 18. This is very much the abridged versions of what this man did to us, yet my mother stood by him the whole time. Several years later my sister had a horrid eating disorder and nearly died. She developed BPD and her life was a mess, including several suicide attempts. Eventually she came out in her late 20s and said that the stepfather sexually abused her for years. I know my sister extremely well, and while she can spin a tale, typical of BPD, I see through her shit and know when she's lying. This time it was 100% real. The damn walls opened and she let it all out, and boy did it cause a stir. I admit my sister's best friend mentioned to us my sister was abused as a kid 5 years earlier, but I was unsure because my sister is mentally ill and spun shit. In hindsight I was pretty disgusted how I acted when I heard. Accusations like this should always be treated with respect. Instead of supporting the child she damaged, my egg donor gaslighted my sister with everyone, saying she was a liar and a bad person and that it was all fake and never happened. She even tried it with me until I made it abundantly clear what I thought. I heard huge rumors about what my mum had been saying. I remember how my sister changed around 10 and how often the stepfather would put her to bed alone, so the shit my mum was saying were lies. After that I made the call to cut her out of my life forever. I can't have someone who does that to their child being around my family. Good riddance. Pettiness in someone I thought I respected and holds an important position. Hindsight in a relationship I had no business being in at my age with someone their age. Realized someone with power to make change was racist. Girlfriend farted on my dick. I was about 14 and visiting my paternal grandparents who I hardly saw. I don't remember exactly what got us on this topic, but domestic violence, against women specifically in this case, came up. My grandmother haughtily came out with something along the lines of, "Some women deserve to get bashed by their husbands." Had I not been such a non-confrontational person, and technically still am really, and so shocked/disgusted by that statement, I might have said something. I can say that my respect for her, which to be honest wasn't as high as it could have been in the first place, depleted pretty damn quickly. I was out a bar with this girl I met in college. We didn't know each other before. but had hung out a few times and had a great time. Clubs, games, just chilling. She was super fun and sharp. One night, we had been out and stopped by one last pub before home, where I ran into another group of my friends. We sat down with them, 5 to 6 people, mix of guys and girls, having beers, literally sitting across the table, not dancing, anything. She started getting weird and told me we should leave because she wasn't feeling well. On the way home she admitted to me that she needed to leave because some friends of her brothers had come in and seen her talking with black guys. I asked her if she was afraid of her family or thought they'd cut her off or something. She said no, but it just wasn't worth it. And I was like, nope, that's it for me. I told her after she dropped me off to never call me again. She shrugged, but after that when people asked if we knew each other, I was candid about what happened. Fuck that bitch. Also, this was 1998.